You are about to cross an invisible line, and once you do, you will never see money the same way again. There is a sentence, just one, a handful of words that, when spoken from the right place within you, have the power to shift your vibration and attract wealth like a living magnet. But pay attention, this video is not entertainment, it is not magic, it is not a cheap trick. What you are about to hear is a key that, if used consciously, can rewrite your financial destiny. You were programmed to believe that money comes from effort, exhaustion, or deserving it. But what if all of that was an illusion? Today, you will feel the truth hidden within the phrase, "I already have." And once you feel it, everything will change. Comment below right now, "I already have," and let this declaration open the space for abundance to flow into your life. For decades, Jacobo Grinberg devoted his life to investigating what most people ignore, the true origin of reality. His studies on the neuronal field and the structure of consciousness revealed something profoundly transformative, that the world you see outside is actually a projection of what exists within you. Everything you live, feel, attract, or repel is a direct consequence of your vibrational state. But Grinberg was not alone. Before him, Neville Goddard already declared that your own wonderful human imagination is God, and that by uniting word and emotion, you not only influence the world, but recreate it. Both reached the same conclusion through different paths. External reality responds to inner consciousness. In this video, we bring together Grinberg's spiritual science and Neville's creative power of words. The result? A turning point, a sentence, a state, a direct path to the vibration of wealth. But it takes more than repeating words. It requires feeling, assuming, and becoming. And today, you will discover exactly how to do this, and why this seemingly simple phrase has the power to change everything. You may not notice it, but there is a hidden program running your relationship with money, a silent program installed in childhood through simple phrases, unconscious gestures, and repeated behaviors around you. Money doesn't grow on trees. Life is hard. Only with hard sweat can you achieve something. These expressions, often spoken with good intentions, are seeds planted directly into your subconscious, and there, they grow deep roots. The result? A reality shaped by beliefs you never consciously chose, but came to accept as absolute truths. You can study, work hard, have good ideas, but if within you there's a belief that money is difficult, all your energy will be sabotaged by this silent command. You strive, but never break through the invisible ceiling of scarcity. The struggle becomes constant and exhaustion inevitable. Jacobo Grinberg explained that perceived reality is an extension of your mental structure. If that structure is contaminated by limiting patterns, you cannot access the infinite field of possibilities the universe offers. In other words, the world itself is not limited. Your filter is programmed to perceive limits. That filter is so powerful that even when opportunities appear, you ignore them, distrust them, or reject them. Your reticular activating system, RAS, the brain's mechanism for filtering perception, acts as the border guard of your reality. It only allows in what confirms what you already believe. If you see yourself as someone unlucky with money, your brain will unconsciously overlook every sign of prosperity around you. That is why so many people live as if trapped in an invisible maze. They repeat the same behaviors, face the same blocks, feel the same fears, and think the problem is the world. But the world only reflects the program running inside. Breaking this programming does not require brute force, but recognition and decision. Recognizing that your thoughts and beliefs were inherited, absorbed, not chosen. And deciding that from now on, a new identity can be installed. An identity where money is not scarce, but natural. Where abundance is not a distant prize, but an inner state. The first step, Observe your automatic thoughts about money. When a limitation arises, ask yourself, who taught me this? Is this an absolute truth or just a program? By doing this, you begin uninstalling the old commands and create space for a new vibrational language. And in that space, fragile but fertile, the phrase "I already have" begins to act. Not as a wish, but as a new code ready to replace the old system. Most people think words are just sounds, articulated noises to express thoughts. But to Neville Goddard and Jacobo Grinberg, the word is much more. It is the bridge between the invisible world of imagination and the visible world of reality. When spoken from an elevated state of consciousness, the word becomes creator. It doesn't describe, it decrees. Grinberg called this interaction with the neuronal field. For him, consciousness shaped reality just as a lens shapes light. Neville said, "The word spoken with feeling from the fulfilled desire carries the authority of creation," which means the true power is not in what you say, but in where within you it comes from. You can repeat, "I have money" 1,000 times, but if your consciousness is immersed in lack, those words are just noise. On the other hand, if you connect with a state where you truly feel you already possess what you desire, a simple phrase like, "I already have," becomes a vibrational seed. And like all seeds, it germinates in the unseen before manifesting in the physical. Think about it. All great human changes began with words, a speech, a phrase, a decree, because words carry frequency fields, and those fields influence the environment. When you speak from the depths of your imagination, with faith and emotional surrender, you shift your vibration. And when your vibration changes, reality reorganizes around you. But beware, the power is not in mechanical repetition. It is in entering the right state before speaking. Neville called this the feeling of the wish fulfilled. In other words, you don't say "I have" as if you were begging or dreaming. You say it as someone who already is, who already possesses, who no longer needs to wait. That is why the phrase "I already have" seems simple but hides a powerful secret. It dissolves time. It cancels one day. It erases when it happens. And it places you in the now, where all creation occurs. The now is the manifestation point. The now is where God acts. The now is where your consciousness touches the real. By declaring "I already have" from the state of the end fulfilled, you issue a command to the universe, not with arrogance, but with conviction. And the universe, which responds to frequency, begins moving people, circumstances, and ideas to confirm what you declared. This is not an empty belief. It is a spiritual technology. It is applied consciousness science. Words are not childish magic. They are vibrational engineering. And when used from the right state, they rebuild your life from the inside out. The word is the trigger, but emotion is the charge. Without emotion, even the most powerful phrase in the world is just an empty sound. Neville Goddard was emphatic. Feeling is the secret. And Jacobo Grinberg, in his studies of altered states of consciousness, discovered that emotion not only influences the mind, but literally shapes the field of reality. In other words, emotion does not just accompany creation, it is creation. When you say, "I already have," the phrase must carry an authentic feeling, relief, gratitude, trust, presence. Because that feeling instructs the subconscious, the brain, the body, and the quantum field to reorganize everything around you to match the new frequency. Pause and think. How many times have you said, "I want money," with fear, with doubt, with anxiety? These emotions, even when mixed with positive words, still carry the vibration of lack. And the universe responds to vibration, not to superficial intention. You can want strongly, desire intensely, but if deep down you vibrate scarcity, that is what you will continue to attract. Emotion is the language reality understands. That's why painful memories of the past still affect your present. By reliving them emotionally, you make them real again for your body. Now imagine applying the same principle in reverse, using emotion not to relive trauma, but to create a desired future as if it were already happening. That is the true power of the phrase, "I already have." When spoken with genuine emotion, it doesn't just shift your thoughts, it shifts your state. And when your state changes, your decisions change, your behavior changes, your energy changes. You stop looking for signs outside and start generating them from within. The key here is not to force emotion, it is to allow it. To imagine in rich detail the scene already fulfilled and let your body respond. See yourself receiving that payment. Picture yourself opening your bank app. Feel the relief of paying everything with ease, the freedom of saying yes to what you desire, the lightness of depending on no one. Let these images spark a real emotional reaction in you, and then speak, "I already have." In that moment, your word will carry living energy. This is not a ritual. It is a fine-tuning between what you think, feel, and declare. It is a spiritual, emotional, vibrational practice. Emotion is the spark that transforms desire into matter, intention into manifestation. Without it, you are just repeating words into the void. With it, you create realities. So remember, never say, "I already have" as a request. Say it as someone who feels it has already arrived. And when that feeling takes over your being, you will have activated the most powerful gear of creation. The phrase, "I already have," is not just an affirmation. It is an identity, a state of being. And for it to manifest real changes in your life, you must live as someone who already possesses what you desire. This is where many fail. They say the right words, even feel it for a moment, but soon return to old behavior, fear-based decisions, doubt-driven actions, scarcity-rooted thoughts, and then nothing changes. Neville Goddard called this process living in the end. It means embodying today the behavior, posture, and mindset of the version of yourself that already has what you desire. It doesn't matter if your bank balance hasn't caught up yet. The external is always the last to change. The first change is the inner state. And reality, like an obedient mirror, simply reflects that state with delay. When you live as someone who already has, your vibration changes. You stop acting like an energetic beggar. You no longer plead for miracles. You no longer check constantly if it worked. You enter a silent frequency of certainty, and that certainty changes everything. It alters your micro-choices, the tone of your voice, the way you walk, what you tolerate, what you allow, what you demand, what you invest in, what you reject. Reality responds to this because the universe does not react to what you wish. It responds to what you are, and what you are is determined by what you consistently live. If you say, "I already have," but act like someone who doubts, you transmit vibrational confusion, and confusion attracts more of the same: unstable results, evaporating opportunities, doors opening and closing without explanation. Now imagine living as the being who already possesses. What does this version of you listen to? What does it read? Who does it connect with? How does it react to challenges? How does it face life? This exercise is not fantasy, it is vibrational modeling. It is conscious construction of a new reality field, and this is what attracts money. Not greed, not need, but alignment with the right identity. Start small. A gesture, a look, a choice. Dress as someone prosperous. Speak with clarity. Breathe with ease. Take a symbolic action. Keep a bill with reverence. Organize your finances as someone who already has more than enough. Each act confirms your new identity, and the world begins to respond. This practice is not about pretending. It is about anticipating the vibration of your desired future. When you live as the being who already possesses, the phrase, "I already have," is no longer something you repeat. It is something you embody. And once embodiment is real, manifestation becomes inevitable. True transformation happens when the phrase stops being effort and becomes natural. When you say, "I already have," not as an exercise in repetition, but as an authentic expression of what you believe and feel. To reach this point, you must cultivate an essential skill: vibrational persistence. Neville Goddard said it's not enough to feel the desire fulfilled once. You must persist in that feeling until it solidifies into form. This means holding the vibration even when the world around you shows opposite signs. You say, "I already have," when everything flows, and you keep saying it when things appear stagnant, not out of blind stubbornness, but out of inner conviction. This is where most people give up. They start excited, feel the vibration for a day or two, but at the first sign of "it's not working," they return to the old state. This oscillation is like planting a seed and digging it up every hour to see if it sprouted. The plant never grows. Vibrational persistence is the art of remaining faithful to the new state, even without external proof. Like a mother who feels her child's presence before seeing him born. She already lives as a mother. She prepares. She trusts. In the same way, by repeating with feeling, "I already have," you are gestating a new reality. But how to persist when old patterns still try to dominate? The answer lies in daily self-observation. Watch yourself. Notice when doubt creeps in, when scarcity tries to return, and in those moments interrupt the pattern. Pause, breathe, reaffirm, "I already have." Then feel, imagine, align. This is the training, and like any training, it strengthens with practice. A powerful tool for persistence is the use of emotional anchors. It can be a song that connects you to the vibration of wealth, an image, a scent, an object, anything that instantly reminds you of your new identity. Use these anchors in unstable moments as triggers to return to your center. Another valuable practice is conscious self-dialogue. Every day, talk to yourself as if you were already living the desired reality, not as illusion, but as alignment. The mind believes what you repeat with emotion and consistency, and repetition with feeling transforms the phrase, "I already have," from a mantra into an identity marker. Vibrational persistence is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It keeps the vibration alive until form manifests. And when you truly become someone who sustains this frequency as a natural state, the universe has no choice. It must respond. Because in truth, it has always been just a reflection of what you choose to be. There is a moment in your day when the door to creation is wide open, and almost no one uses it. It is the instant between wakefulness and sleep, when your conscious mind fades and the subconscious is fully exposed. This is the portal of deep reprogramming, and this is where the phrase "I already have" gains its greatest power. Jacobo Grinberg studied this liminal state, which scientists call the hypnagogic state, and revealed that during it, the neuronal field expands, perception shifts, and the mind harmonizes with subtler structures of reality. Neville Goddard called this moment the creative sleep and taught his students never to fall asleep without first assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The night ritual is simple but powerful. Lie down in silence, in darkness, and let your body fully relax. Breathe slowly. Release the day's concerns. Little by little, your mind will enter alpha and then theta waves, the same brain patterns as children who absorb everything as truth. At this moment, visualize your abundant life, not as something that will come, but as something that already is. Picture specific scenes. You smiling as you receive unexpected payment, opening an email with a valuable proposal, buying something without guilt or fear. Feel the relief, the joy, the certainty, and then say softly in your mind or in a low voice, "I already have." Repeat it gently as if rocking a dream. Don't force. Don't doubt. Just feel. The phrase must flow naturally, infused with the emotion of already possessing what you desire. If tears come, Let them. If your body tingles, welcome it. These are your being's responses to the new vibration being planted. The beauty of this moment is that the subconscious does not argue. It does not question. It simply accepts. And since it governs 95% of your daily life, what you imprint on it in that instant shapes your behavior, your decisions, and your reality in the days ahead. Make this a sacred habit, a commitment to your transformation. For 7 consecutive nights, repeat this process. You will notice subtle changes, more clarity, more opportunities, more alignment. And gradually, you will see outer changes too, because the world always responds to your deepest state. And remember, this ritual is not a request to the universe. It is a declaration of identity. When you fall asleep affirming, "I already have," you are instructing your subconscious which reality to express, and it obeys, with precision, with timing, with perfection. This is the secret few use, but it changes everything. Not because it is magic, but because it is spiritual science applied with constancy and emotion. The night will no longer be only rest, it will be creation. Now that you know the power of the phrase, "I already have," it is time to stop searching and start living the truth already within you. Everything shared here is not meant just to inspire. It is meant to be applied today, now. In the very moment this video ends, do not treat this practice as symbolic. Treat it as a new way of being. Upon waking, remember your new identity. Throughout the day, walk with the awareness that abundance already belongs to you. And at night, before sleep, enter the state and softly declare, "I already have." Make it a daily ritual. If you felt this calling, subscribe to the channel right now. Not only to receive more content like this, but to declare to the universe that you are committed to your transformation. Here, each video is a tool, each teaching a bridge, and each step you take brings you closer to your ideal reality. And in the comments write, "I already have, and today I live as one who possesses." This phrase will be your starting point for the new journey, because wealth is not something you reach, it is something you embody.